Joining us now on the line is the anchor of Varney and Company on the Fox Business Network, which starts every morning at 9:20. If you want to check him out, he's a good friend of this program and always one of our favorite guests. Stuart Varney, how are you, Stuart?
Brian, it's always great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, so look, I want to start out by yesterday. There was a hearing on Capitol Hill in which the director of the CBO, a guy named Elmendorf, testified about Obamacare, and he simply said that if, there are certain parts of Obamacare that causes people not to want to work.
By providing heavily subsidized health insurance to people with very low income and then withdrawing those subsidies as income rises, the Act creates a disincentive for people to work.
And, then the Democrats, how do we defend that? Well, here's what Representative Van Hollen had to say about that.
The Affordable Care Act does end that job lock. It allows Americans to choose to spend more time with their family or pursue their dreams.
Yes, we can all be dreamers now. No need to worry about work because we got that health care in our back pocket. And if we go out there and actually, accomplish something or work, Stuart Varney, well, they're only going to take that Obamacare, that free Obamacare away from us. So let's just sit on our butts.
They really did change America, didn't they?
Fundamentally. Yeah.
Fundamentally. From a society where you work, save, invest, marry, have children, work hard, move up the food chain, that's progression, that's movement, that's progress. From that, we go to, we are liberating you from the rigors of work. Sit back, let somebody else work, let somebody else pay for you. That's the way you get ahead. That's liberation. About 50 minutes from now, we're going to find out how many people were laid off and claimed unemployment benefits last week. This is normally a negative. I propose to turn that around. This is wonderful news. 300,000 people liberated to pursue their dreams.
That's right.
What a great country.
That's why we all now pick up guitar and let our hair grow long and wear sandals.
Oh, that's our generation, Brian.
Hey, Stuart, let me ask you about this decision from CVS yesterday. This obviously made major news across the country. A huge pharmacy chain deciding unilaterally to pull all tobacco products off their shelves. And see, I would think if I'm the chairman of Walgreens or maybe Rite Aid, I see this as an opportunity to grow my market share because I'll offer customers something that my competitor refuses to offer them. But is there more at play here? Why did CVS do this?
Oh, in my opinion, it was branding. It was a marketing ploy. They got revenues of $120 billion a year. Only $2 billion of that, less than 2%, comes from tobacco products. So they're not losing out on a big chunk of revenue. What they're doing is they're moving out of a declining industry, tobacco, and moving into a good, clean, progressive industry, healthcare. That's good for their image. It's a fine piece of marketing. And if you look at social media today, there are a lot of comments from people who say, got to go to CVS. They're the good people. They're the healthy people. Let's go buy my deodorant there. So from a purely business, economics, marketing standpoint, the CVS move was probably a success.
And, of course, as a pure free marketeer like yourself, Stuart Varney, you celebrated. If that's their business decision, let them. But now you're starting to hear the drumbeat of, well, maybe we should have legislation making all pharmacies ban them from selling tobacco products.
Oh, right on the first point, Larry. Yes, indeed. I'm a free market guy. If you want to set out your stall, your retail operation, not to sell this product, that's fine with me. That's your call, your decision. I don't like seeing top-down legislation that tells retailers what they can do with their business and their capital. That I would object to. No problem with the CVS move, though, on its own.
I hear you've been working on a story about Americans and gambling. What have you found?
An astonishing number. Last year, Americans lost $119 billion gambling. That's more than any other country in the world. Most of those losses came in casinos and in buying lottery tickets. $119 billion is a very large number. Remember, most of that money, I don't know exactly how much, but most of it comes from poor people. And think what we're doing here. We're marketing gambling. State authorities market gambling as an opportunity to succeed, to win. Again, this is the new America. You don't work, save, invest, marry, have children, buy a house, and move up. No, that's not the way to do it. You've got to be lucky.
Well, you know why the states do that.
Oh, tax revenue.
Well, I'm reading a story right now that just came out about the state of Maryland, which is not a big gambling state, but they've got gambling. The 4 casinos generated $66.2 million for the state.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Hey.
Now, again, I'm a free market guy.
Sure.
I think gambling should be legal. But it is the most efficient way of taxing poor people and is the ruin of many people, and I'm not so sure I like it.
Hey, Stuart, I'm sure you're following these stories of reporters and tourists and athletes going to Sochi there, and they're having huge infrastructure problems, huge problems with the hotel rooms there when they're having the Olympics. And people are sort of giggling about it. But since you and I, we go back to the time when Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan fought against the Soviet Union and centralized government, do you see a larger allegory here that they just can't do things right there because of their roots in central planning?
Well, they're a corrupt society. They're politically corrupt, and they're financially and economically corrupt. And the results are on clear display. I'm told that they spent $50 billion putting on the Sochi Olympics, and if this is the end result, where there are clear water shortages, food problems, terror threats, and all the rest of it, I don't think they've got their money's worth, and yes, it is a good allegory that the Russians are incapable, given their political structure and given their history of corruption. I don't think they can do a very good job. And, these events, it's like the Super Bowl, it's like the World Cup, it's like the Olympics. These are not spectator events. These are global television events.
Yes.
That's where the money is, and that's where you lose on PR if you get it wrong.
Stuart Varney, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us.
Gentlemen,